Alright, what is up, everybody? So, welcome back. This is day 4 now of our rapid rating climb. So, a little different today. We actually had one of our best recordings yet. Probably, it was my best game yet, for sure, but also my best recording. It's getting a little easier to kind of talk through everything while I was playing. So, anyway, I record the whole video. I'm super happy with it. I'm very happy about the game, and then I realized my microphone was not on the entire time. So as you can see, we have our game here, and I just have no audio. So what I figured we'd do is we will just review. We'll review the game, and I'm just going to talk through it quickly here because I am very happy about this game. I felt like I had a lot of improvement here, so we'll review it quickly, and then that'll be it for today's video, and hopefully we can have another good game after this. So let's just roll on right into it. So to start off, we tried the London, so we played d4. Our opponent played d5. I was pretty happy with that, so we could go ahead and get our normal London opening, which I do usually play the bishop before the knight for whatever reason. They brought their knight out, attacking my pawn, so I decided to defend that pawn and develop my knight. Then they brought out that knight, not really attacking anything in particular other than just the e4 square. So I went ahead and pushed my pawn so I could get my f bishop out. The opponent brought the knight in, and let's see what did I do with this. So that's right, I wanted to keep control of our London system, and I thought the best way to do that, what I was worried about when this knight came in, is I was worried about the fork, where they come down here to f2, and then they fork our queen and our rook. And I know that we could just take, since there isn't a bishop or anything else here, we can just take with the king, but then we lose castling rights, and that's the problems that I had the other day in a previous game where we lost castling rights early, and we were just, we had no hope after that. So I decided that if I bring this bishop back here, I'm keeping it pretty close to the London structure because I can always just pop it back onto f4, and I was defending the pawn. So that way, if the knight wanted to go ahead and take f2 pawn, then bishop takes, and then later I can still castle. So that's why I brought the bishop back here. They play e6, and we go ahead and bring our f bishop out to the normal London position, and it's also with a tempo on the knight because now the knight cannot go take f2 because of this bishop. So the knight's going to have to move, and instead they put me in check. So they put me in check. I was worried about this initially because, again, didn't want to lose castling rights. So I wanted to make sure that I could block this and not move my king or anything. So what we did is we just went ahead and pushed our pawn because, again, I was happy with all these moves. They pretty much allowed me to do my normal London development while just also responding to their threats. So it just felt like a really good opening where I got the full London structure that we want to see here, other than just our bishop being on the g file instead of on f4. And all we need to do is bring our knight out. So let's see what they do. They take my bishop. Wasn't happy about that because that, again, kind of broke me off of the London that I was hoping to achieve. But then I had a big problem here. I couldn't decide whether to take with the h pawn or the f pawn. And my thought process was, I know you're supposed to take towards the center, right? If you have an issue like this with the pawns, takes towards the center of the board. But I wanted to castle short, so I really didn't want to take with the h pawn and then have this file be half open for later. So I just decided to go ahead and take with the f pawn, and I spent a little bit of time thinking about that. It looks like, wow, I spent over about a minute and a half thinking about that. Also, that's one thing if you'll notice here. My opponent, it was weird. They spent a lot of time. They only have 5 minutes left. This was a 15-minute game with 10-second increment. They're already down to 5 minutes. They had a couple of really long pauses. I thought they might have banned in or something at some time, but every time they would pause and come back, they would come back and play normally. So I I don't know what was going on. I was very happy to have the time advantage, and that definitely helped me out in this game for sure. But I still think I played this game pretty well. So, um, any case, they decided to, yeah, because we had kicked the bishop. So then they finally push it back after I took their knight, and then we castle. All right, they just kind of push a pawn. I finally get my knight to d2, and they push another pawn. And during all of this, I felt like I did a really good job of scanning, and that's why I wish that my microphone was on and y'all could see the actual recording, because I think I was doing a good job of calculating, and every move I was kind of going through that checks captures threat in my head, and I was looking at, just before every move I was thinking, okay, what does that pawn do? Okay, that doesn't really do anything, but does it, you know, I don't know, protect a knight, or what about this bishop? Is it going to come? And I was just doing a good job of scanning. So, and this whole time I was waiting for this queen to come out. So I was thinking a lot about the queen coming out here. I thought our knight was defending some of those squares pretty decently. So I wasn't too worried about the queen coming out. And then also we have the bishop. So in any case, a lot of times if I do get the full London structure like I hope to, I don't really know what to do with the queen. I usually just bring it here, and again, normally we would have our bishop here still as well, but or here rather. But so I wanted to connect the rooks, and so I felt like I finally, on move 11 here, I have a full development, right? We've got good control over the center. We've got a lot of pressure on, we lost some pressure actually on the e5 square because we don't have that bishop here, so that was one thing. But anyway, we connected our rooks, we castled, we did all the things we're supposed to do. And the opponent pushes another pawn. At this point, I decided to go ahead and attack the center. I didn't really know what to do. I didn't feel like there was any much more development I could do. I couldn't really bring the knight out here at all with the pawns coming in. So we decided to go ahead and push the pawn, and I was expecting them to take back. I would have taken with the bishop or the knight, but I figure if I take with the bishop, then we kind of have this going on where the knight's attacked, it's not defended, and if the knight were to move, well, we get a free rook with our bishop. So that was kind of my plan, I think. And then they do this. They push their pawn, their e-pawn. So now I had a little bit of a decision. I know I need to take a pawn. Well, which pawn do I take? And of course, if we take the e-pawn, well, they can take back, we can take back, they can take back, and so ultimately we don't have enough defenders because we don't have that extra bishop here. So I knew we couldn't really go that way, and we had the queen backing up, but our pawn was still going to be here. So anyway, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take this way. We have a half open file with our queen staring right down at his king if this pawn wasn't here. Also, we get a tempo on the knight. So we take, he moves the knight. And then I loved this. So we take e5. Now we've got our pawns back in the middle, and they've just switched places. So we have our e pawn and our d pawn there in the center. They've just they've traded with each other. So this is great too, because now again we have we're attacking the bishop, and we have more defenders, right? Because they have two, and we have our queen and our knight as well. So I felt like we did a really good job of pressuring the center here. And then at this point, they bring the knight back in and take my pawn. I didn't really see that coming. I will admit, it caught me a little bit off guard. But again, we still had this little bit of a pin on the rook, which is undefended. And still, at this point, the knight is hanging. Both are hanging. So we go ahead and take the free bishop, though. Yeah. So we take the free bishop. They move their king. Wait a second. Yeah, so they were in check. Yeah, that's why I took the bishop. Well, that was also a benefit of taking the bishop. Put them in check, so we took away their castling rights. I mean, they could have blocked, but they could have blocked a couple ways. Anyway, yeah, they moved the king. So I decided to set up a battery here. And I don't think the engine liked this move. I don't think it really cared. It didn't really matter. And later I realized I had wished that I kept this F rook here, and I wish that I just brought this over. I don't know why I didn't bring the rook from A to E1. I think I just thought I wanted something that could maybe go on one of these files at some point. I don't know. But we should have brought the A rook over here. In any case, we bring the F rook. They take the pawn back, which I was sad about because I saw a lot of promise here with, moving the queen to E7, protected by the pawn. I thought that was great, but they had the queen in the way, so we couldn't do that. The knight was defending as well. And then I also was kind of hoping, like, oh, well, maybe something crazy happens. They move the queen, and we get a chance to attack this bishop or promote somehow. I mean, I didn't expect to promote, but I thought, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So they take the pawn back. I decided to push the knight in, and this is where things got a little bit tricky. Let's see. I just wanted to get the knights in the center. I don't think... I didn't want to block the battery I set up, so I was worried about this move. But I needed to bring this knight in, and there wasn't a lot of great ways to do it. So I think I just wanted to move it in and then get it out here somehow. Let's see. So I bring it to the center. They just push their queen forward, so I'm thinking about this and, these kinds of things. And then, this knight, I wanted to possibly get up here somewhere. I was just thinking about a lot of opportunity with the knights and the queen moving in, whether it be this way, the queen somehow comes in this way, or the knight, whatever, with the knight protecting. So they kick my knight. I didn't want to just move my knight back because the only other option was everything was pretty much attacked. Yeah, the queen. I couldn't move the knight there, so I was going to just have to move the knight back. I didn't really want to waste time doing that, so I decided to push this pawn and attack their knight. So I figured, all right, if they want to take my knight, I'll take their knight. Well, they just take my pawn, and we just take back with the bishop, and then we've kind of got this bishop now attacking this knight. So they move it back to safety. Our knight's still under attack from the pawn, so I was still worried about that, and then our bishop's also now getting attacked by their knight. So I had to spend some time here thinking about this. Yeah, I spent a whole minute deciding what I wanted to do here. I think we end up moving the knight back to safety, but then, okay, they push and attack this knight, but now they've just ruined their little pawn structure they had. So now I'm starting to see opportunities for the knight to move in. So now things are looking better, and we do. We go ahead and take. Now I've got ideas for our queen to come in, and things are looking much better for us. And at this point, this is a good little screenshot here. If you look at their king and look at our king. I mean, our king is inside this fortress. Yeah, we have double pawns, but I mean, still, hey, look what the pawns alone are covering all these squares. And then we have this battery set up. We have an extra rook protecting the back rank, and their king is just exposed out here. It's got a bishop blocking this diagonal. It's got a knight covering these squares. It's got another knight ready to jump in. So I felt pretty confident here. Now, they were very low on time, and they actually, if you've been watching, they've probably been low on time for a while. I think that they were just kept moving fast and getting that increment back. So I thought we might actually flag them earlier, but they kept playing quickly, I think, and getting that 10 seconds back. I was starting to get in time trouble myself, though, but things go pretty well from here. They pushed that. I was getting double attacked now on my bishop from both of these, the pawn and the knight. So I slid it back, and okay, they moved their rook. I don't know why. I remember this was one of my, this is an inaccuracy. So we're going to look at that stuff later, but that was my only inaccuracy the whole game, was that move. And I don't really know what I was thinking when I did it, but in any case, we're ready to go here. I mean, we have the bishop, or the queen and the rook ready to go. The knight's, controlling some squares. Their knight can come in, so we're looking good. They've got 24 seconds. We've got a minute. They attack this knight. We take their pawn. Okay, I think my thought process there was, what was that thing? Because the queen could have taken. Oh, yeah, that's right. If the queen takes, it's fine. It's checkmate. or that wouldn't have been checkmate. The king could have moved to this square, right? So I take the pawn. They could have taken my knight, or they could have taken my bishop with their queen. But then we got some problems down here because we bring the queen in. The king has to move to g7. So I don't really know. I was a little bit low on time here, so it probably wasn't the most perfect moves ever. But in any case, this is what they do in response to that move. There, queen g7. The only square that the king could have escaped. They block it with their queen. So we saw it right away, and there we go. So our first checkmate. So that's the first checkmate for this account. That was good, especially after the tough loss that we had previously. And yeah, I couldn't believe it when we took a look at this here. I had 87 accuracy. I think that's the highest I've had, and 2 great moves I was happy about. 0 blunders. I had 1 inaccuracy and 1 miss. I thought that was pretty cool. I was so that was probably the best game I've ever had in terms of, I don't know how much stock people take in the accuracy and the game rating and the misses, but I was pretty happy with the checkmate, and then to get the 0 blunders and all that. So it was a good game. That was one of
Taking
the betters,
control of the center.
one of the betters that I've had. So let's just take a look at the. Does it show? Let's see what next. Well, okay. So the great move was when we just took the free pawn, and I think it was a great move just because we were taking a free pawn and attacking the knight. That's what it says anyway. Free pawn with the tempo. And then the next great move was the same thing when we just took the free bishop. So those are the great moves. And then our only miss was, when I was talking about getting that knight kicked, we brought it back. When we did finally bring it back, of course it ended up being a miss. And then the inaccuracy was the rook sliding over. Yeah, right there. Rook a d1 inaccuracy. So, all right, well, there you have it. That was the game. Again, sorry, I wish I had recorded it live. I mean, I did record just no audio, and I'm not going to do the whole voiceover again, so I thought we'd just review it like this. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.